AI agents and Agentic RAG. Finally, we're getting into the good stuff. But do you know what they actually are? Do you know how to build them? And can we do it easily? Well, yes we can, and I'll show you how. Hello everyone, and welcome back to my channel. My name is Kirk, and today we're going to be talking about AI agents, and specifically Agentic RAG. We will build a simple AI agent using Azure AI Foundry. But before that, let's cover over some of the basics of what an AI agent actually is. Previously, in another tutorial, we looked at LLM with RAG, or Retrieval-Augmented Generation. In that flow, we simply combined our user prompt with data we received from our vector database and sent that to our LLM to get a response. Pretty simple. Let's talk about AI agents. An AI agent is simply a system that can perceive, reason, and act in an environment, often autonomously, to achieve specific goals. Let's look at a simple AI agent flow. First, the user will send a task to the AI agent. Let's say our task is, what were yesterday's sales? The AI agent will receive this task. Then the agent will do something we call react, which stands for reason and act. The LLM is the brain of our agent. The LLM will think in a structured way, aka a chain of thought, to decide the next step. This is called reasoning. In our example, after our agent receives the task, our LLM will create a reason of, I need to find yesterday's sales results. Agents are built and configured with tools which allow the agent to act on its environment. In our case, the act will be search documents, date yesterday. The tool will return a result. In our case, tool returns $1 million. We will record that as an observation. Next, the LLM will do another reason. I have the results. Send it back to the user. Then the act will be send result to the user, which will produce a final answer of yesterday's sales were $1 million. That's a pretty big sale result. Okay, the easiest way to get started with creating an agent in Azure AI Foundry is to come to the home page and come here and click Create an Agent. I'm already logged in here. I already have a resource group that I can put all this in. You might have to do that. But come in here and let's click on Create an Agent, and let's name this Player Agent. It's validating the name, and we can go ahead and it's setting it up for us. So we'll just give that a second. Okay, that is done. And the first thing it does is come here and it asks us to deploy a model. Now remember, for agents, the LLM is the brain. It's doing the reasoning and the thinking for us. So we're going to come here and pick one. I'm just going to pick GPT 4.1. Let's just go in and do this. I will deploy this. I think everything here is fine. Let's just go ahead and pick this. I'll go deeper into deployment options and pricing in another lesson later on. But for now, let's just get the agent up and running. Okay, our agent is up, and let's go down here in the models. It should say this is the GPT-4, and we have our agent. Yeah, so let's go in here. Let me just rename this Player Agent to make it easy for us to see. And let's go ahead. I'm going to leave this for now. Let's just go in the playground because I want to show you something. Let's test this. Hello. Let's see if we get a response. Oh, okay, it's up. It's up and good. Okay, we will continue and let's tie this into a RAG, but let's first do a little bit of testing so I can show you what the goal is here. I like hockey. I still play hockey. So I decided to create a small little agent, a demo here, that will allow people on our hockey team to get information about the user stats, about the people on our team. Now, of course, this information might be on the internet, but large LLMs like GPT probably don't have the information or the usernames and the team names. Probably not going to find it. So what we're going to do is we're going to tie it into a RAG, some documents about our team and the players, and we're going to allow the agent to fetch that information. So let's go ahead and do that. Okay, here I am. This is True North Hockey. This is the league I play in. I just want to show you this, show you what I'm going to do. We are here, and this is our team name. And I've gone here and I've just gone and grabbed the roster of our team and saving it as a PDF. And now back to our agent. So we are here, and what we can do, well, actually, I just want to test. I want to show you something. We have a player named Kevin Lee, and Kevin Lee is a pretty common name. So right now, it's not tied to our documents, our data set, our RAG. So if I say what number does Kevin Lee wear? Now, what do you think our LM, our agent here with our LM, is going to say? It's going to say Kevin Lee, the MMA fighter. Now, I don't think this is the same Kevin Lee that is on our team. MMA fighter? Well, maybe. He's a strong guy, but this is probably not him. So what we're going to do, we're just going to tell the agent to use our RAG to fetch information. That's what we're going to do next. Okay, let's go ahead and connect our document, which will be our RAG, into this agent. If you remember from, well, hopefully if you watched, I did a lesson on using RAG with LLM, and I outlined in that video how we tie in, like how we use Azure AI search to create a database and a vector database and allow you to do semantic search. I'm not going to do that here. I'm just going to do something easier. But if you want to watch that, I would say go ahead and watch that, because that tells you how the LLM grabs data from the RAG and puts it in the prompt. We're going to kind of skip over that. This will be a bit easier. But basically, what we're going to do here is we're just going to upload the file. See, here is where we can tie it to AI search, which is what I did in that last demo. Let's go to the files here. And as I told you, we have a document here with the players on our team and their numbers. That's it. This is a PDF. Let's click upload and save. And now we have it. Now, next thing we need to do with our agent is we have to click on actions here and click code interpreter, which will allow us to read information from the data sets, aka that knowledge, which is our RAG. So we have to say this as an action for our agent to do. Let's do that. We don't need to pick the file here because we already uploaded it. And let's click save. And let's go ahead and start testing this. Okay, that is uploaded. Let's go ahead and test this. What do you think is going to happen? Let's try that again with the same user prompt that we had before. What number does Kevin Lee wear? Let's try that. Let's see what it says. Oh, look at that. It came back and says Kevin Lee wears number 13 for the Toronto Rage hockey team. Amazing. I thought it might actually not do it, but apparently I waited a few minutes and the agent knew to go into the vector store once it was ready. Sometimes you do this too quickly, it won't know. But look at that. It came back and we can see that it went in to our data set, the file here, number 13, and he wears number 13. We can check the run info here. You can see that it called the tool here, a tool call. We can see the steps here, but basically what this says, it says it's going in the tool. This is the run step. It's doing a file search and it found the info here. Another thing is this, what I've done here, when we added this knowledge, this actually created a vector database and it does semantic search. I'm not going into AI Azure search to create that vector database and give it batch sizes or anything like that. But of course, in production, you would do that, or you would use another vector database, maybe Pinecone or Mongo. But this is an easy way to get an agent up and running very quickly. Okay, that was pretty easy, but I just showed you this in the playground. And some of you have been asking, that's great, but how can I use it outside of Azure, outside of the playground? And how can we incorporate it and make calls to the agent? Is that easy? You just have to make a simple call, and I'm going to show you that next. Okay, another thing I want to clear up is this agent is pretty simple, but I just want to show you how easy it is to create a tool and use that tool to grab information from RAG. We could be doing a lot more. This is just a simple agent run where it calls one tool, because we only have one tool, does a file search, and then creates the message and sends it. Okay, from here, we can actually go ahead. I'm just going to show you the code, because this is probably what you would do in your programs, your Python programs, or in C# or whatever. You just want to do a simple call to the agent and get their information back. You don't have to want to worry about what LM to use and inserting all that data into the LM. How easy is it to do this? Well, let's go ahead and I'm going to show you this. Load this in Visual Code here, in the Visual Studio Code here. That's in our Azure environment. It is setting this up. What I like about this is it just logs you in, so we are in our account. Let's wait a second here. Okay, here we are in Visual Code for the web. It set everything up for us. You can see environment variables saying the endpoints. I'll go over this in a second, show you this when we step through a bit of the code. But the code is pretty simple. This is just a Python agent. You can imagine this running anywhere, maybe in a container from your own endpoint that you'll deploy somewhere, or just back-end code for your project. And again, you can do this in any language you want. I think you can also do it in Java or C#. But we have libraries available, Azure AI libraries. And basically what this is doing is it's going here, initializing, and we're logging in using default Azure credentials, which will figure out who you are logged in and create an access token. In production, don't do this. Use managed identities and control what resources have access to what. For instance, you might want to limit who has access to your search resources, your blob storages. I wouldn't just do this, but that's for another lesson. Basically what we're doing is we're saying the endpoint. So if we go back here to this playground, close this, and go to our overview for here, we can see that this is our endpoint here, and that's what it's talking to. And our agent has this ID, GEKK, and yeah, so that's the agent ID. Basically the endpoint, agent ID, we are creating a thread, which is a conversation that you are having with your agent. So every person has a thread, and you are sending messages to that person. So we can send the same message here saying, what number does Kevin Lee wear? Again, very simple program. You probably want to have an interactive chat. You want to store your messages and message history and keep on sending that to the history. And we can just run this agent. Python run agent. Yep. Did I save it? In the web, does it actually just save the file? Let's see. Yes. And the agent came back. What number does Kevin Lee wear? It comes back with Kevin Lee wears the number 13, which is great. And look how easy this is. All our RAG, all that's done for us. All we're doing is hitting this endpoint here, and it's logging in for us using our access token, because when we're on the Visual Studio for Web, we are logged in as us, and I have access to this agent. And that's it. One more thing, I'll just show you this in curl from my local machine, because basically all these APIs, they're just wrappers around RESTful endpoints. I'll show you that right now as well. Okay, we are back. And I'm just going to do this because I want to show you how these APIs actually work. Really, they're just RESTful calls to a backend service. So what we're going to do here is, first off, I'm going to go in here and grab our endpoint. And I'm just going to go, this is my local machine. First, you have to be logged in. So you need the Azure CLI here to actually log in. But I'm already logged in. And so what we're going to do is I'm going to do a variable as endpoint is equal to, and get that endpoint there. We also need our agent ID. So let's do that. There's our agent ID here. I'm going to copy this and go agent ID. And that. And we also need API version. This here, I'll show you this in a second, but I had to find this out. But this is just version 1. This is just going to be attached to our URL. And basically, we are just going to do a curl command to our endpoint with some of this information to create that thread first. So let's go here. And you can see here, it is using our login. I'm already logged in to get the access token and putting this in the bearer token. So that's basically what the Python library does anyway. And here what we're saying is we're starting a chat thread. And we have a chat thread ID here. And from here, we can go and add a message to this chat thread. And I'm going to do a different message here. The different number. And we're just going to add this. Oh, it failed. What happened here? Let me just look. Did I do something wrong here? Maybe let me just take a look here for a second. Okay, my bad. I just had an invalid bracket here. I had a curly bracket instead of the straight brackets. So that was the error. Now I just sent this again, our message, and our message here, this is where I had the curly bracket instead of square ones, but I fixed that. It just says what number does Squires wear, which is another player on our team. Again, same token. I'm just recalling getting an access token every single time, sending it here in my curl response. And this is our message. We're sending this. And from here, we get the message ID back. And now let me just see. We can go back and we can do our next thing to actually run this. So let's do a command to run this and get a run ID back. Let's make sure this works. And this is on our thread, which we've saved before when we actually created the thread. I saved this as a thread variable. So we're doing this, calling that. And now we actually have a run. So now it's running our agent. And we can grab that run ID. And let's actually paste this run ID. Let's do run ID. ID is equal to that. Let's execute it from this curl command. Again, a lot easier to do it in our libraries, but I'm just showing you that we can do it. And that ran. And let's do the last one to actually get a response back and see what happens. It is grabbing. This is what the user sent. What number does Squires wear? And Squires wears number 11 for Toronto Rage. So pretty much just did exactly what I showed you in the playground in Python. And now curl. That's it. Another thing is you can verify this in our agents. If we go here and select this agent, we can actually see the threads when I executed this. But look at that. This is what we sent, and this is what we got back. This is what we sent earlier. What number does Kevin Lee wear? And we got the response back. But these are our threads that we can actually go in here and see. In case things don't work, you should be able to see the threads coming from either the playground or Python or curl. And that's it. We just built a simple agentic RAG. That wasn't too hard, wasn't it? And those curl commands that I showed you at the end, I'll put those in my GitHub repo so you can download them and play with them as well. Next, we'll probably go a bit deeper, maybe build a more complicated agent, maybe go over some of the observability, security issues, deployment issues, lots to talk about. So if I were you, I would click that subscribe button so you don't miss out. I had fun making this. I hope you got something out of this. I hope you enjoyed it. I did. I will see you next time.